Hello, Bells of Studio, and welcome to today's strength set. You will need a bench for today's class. I'm not gonna lie, if you don't have one, it's gonna be a little bit difficult, but I will try to give you a good modification in case you don't, but secure the bench right now. If you don't have a real gym bench like I do, a sturdy chair could work, or also like a step stool, but you have to make sure that you can fully step your body onto it, so nothing that's gonna fall over. Let's be safe. And if you do have the bench, we're gonna use it as an option in the warm-up, which we'll start going through pretty soon. Make sure you have a heavy bell for single leg assisted deadlifts and something that you can row pretty easily. We're gonna go for racked bench step-ups today, so we've done some step-ups in this program specifically, but we're adding that kettlebell now today to make it a little more challenging. And what else do I have to say? Check your description section. You gotta know the key movements and your equipment recommendations before we start today. So you have some idea going into this one, what you're getting into. It just helps a lot to know what's ahead. You actually will not need a kettlebell for this first part of your warm-up, but you will need one for the second part. So we're gonna go ahead and go through some moves together. Let's go ahead and come down onto our backs. We're gonna do each thing about 30-ish seconds and then move on to the next. So if you have a bench, I want you to bring both of your feet onto the bench like this with the heels pushing down into it, the knees over the hips. If you don't have a bench, you're gonna do this same thing on the floor with one leg elevated to 90, the other foot pushing into the ground. So it's a little more challenging, obviously, if you're on the bench. Wherever you're at, we're gonna keep a tuck in our pelvis so we're not lifting from our low back. We're actually lifting from our booty cheek and the back of our leg. Push your arms into the floor no matter where you are, as well as your head. From here, I want you to start tucking your pelvis first, and then we're gonna go with one of your legs. You can pick the one. You're just gonna start lifting into single leg bridges. So we're gonna go into this about 30 seconds. I want you to get somewhere close to 10 reps. You might get a little more if you're really cooking here, but resist the urge to do the hot girl booty lift right into your low back. So that's not doing anything for anyone. We want to feel this in the back of our leg. And trust me, if you're on the bench, you're probably already starting to feel that. Let's go ahead and switch your side in 3, 2, and 1. It should be kind of like a deep glute and hamstring booty burn there. So about 10 reps per side is going to do our bodies so well. So keep moving through this, pushing through your heel, lifting the glutes, getting a little burn in those hamstrings here. Squeeze the booty nice and tight, push the arms into the floor. We're gonna keep moving through this one for about another 10 seconds, and then you're just gonna flip onto your chest for some alternating scorpions. If you have a small space like me, just don't kick your bench. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. So I'm gonna kinda do this one a little funky because of the bench and the kettlebells here. And I also keep my chest off the floor so I don't suffocate you with my mic sounding like it's underwater. You're gonna go head to the floor here, and then we're just gonna tap one toe with the head down, turn over the other side, tap the other toe. So just alternate between these, maybe about 10 reps here. Squeeze your booty and thrust your hips as you do it. Nice little stretch for our chest, for the back side of our body. We're just kind of warming it up here. And if you're really cooking, you can move a little fast. Get some momentum in your hips in this one. It actually feels quite nice to do that. Ladies, if you're a little more busty up front here, make sure that you don't squish yourself here. So just kind of be light on your chest. We're gonna stay down there for scorpions next. You're here for 3, 2, and 1. So for 30 seconds, we're gonna try alternating. I lied, we're doing Supermans. We just did scorpions. Alternating Superman. So what I'm gonna have you try, this is level 1 here, lifting up both arms and legs. Level 2 is trying to do one side and then the opposite, kind of like we're crawling. So opposite leg and arm. Let's go ahead and try this out for 30 seconds. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. So we're gonna lift and lengthen. Lift and lengthen. I don't want you, again, lifting straight up. This should not feel like you're arching your back and trying to show me how flexible you are. Push your hip bones into the floor. And then you're gonna think lift and lengthen. So I want length through your toes, length through your arms, like you're reaching versus going up to the sky. So think of long ways, not tall ways here. This is like do you guys remember like hot dog and hamburger folding? Am I really dating myself here? So this would be like we're going for the hot dog. We're going for that long fold look here. Let's keep at it for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And if I do have anybody in Gen Z doing these classes, I probably absolutely lost you at this point. Okay, open and close the book. We're gonna lay down on our backs the other way. We've done this a few times in this program, so we're gonna take the legs to one side, and then you're just gonna give your hand a little clap to that side. So we're gonna go about 10 total reps here. So to go ahead and join me here if you're not in this position yet. Really reach with the top arm, get some movement in your T-spine. After you've done about 5, we'll be close to 30 seconds. So we'll go ahead and hit the other side. We're just gonna reach. Again, try to think about getting long in your reach. Clap the other hand. Don't reach with your shoulders. Let yourself curl over and give that hand a clap. We're gonna be here less than 10 seconds, maybe 1 or 2 more good ones. Open, close the book. Try to sync up your breath with it, that exhale when you clap the hand. We'll be here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The second helping of our warm-up, you are gonna need a light kettlebell or dumbbell. So go ahead and get that out. We're gonna start with the SOS Turkish Get Up. 1 time left and right. I'm gonna walk you through that one by one. If that is not for you, you can choose to do 5 baby Turkish Get Ups or a full get up with a light bell. Then we're gonna go for some single leg deadlifts with an isometric hold. Those are coming up in class later today because we have a whole posterior chain segment to do. And then we have some staggered stance cleans. Don't worry, if those seem a little much for you, you always can go back and do your dead stop clean. So let's go ahead, get your bell out. It should be a lightweight. You can also attempt this SOS get up with body weight if you're a little nervous about it, because it gets a little more bendy than the other style of get up. So let's go ahead, lay down. Hand comes into position under your bell, fetal position, just like your normal Turkish get up. Roll onto your back. You're gonna push your bell up and then find your get up position. So first we're gonna roll to the elbow together in 3, 2, and 1. So roll to the elbow, stop there. Now I want you to think of pulling your straight leg in, bending it, crossing your bent leg over the top. So you're in this little crisscross. Now we're going to flip over onto our knees. Your forearm should be kind of bent with your knuckles facing to the side, sort of like where your bell is. Now you're gonna straighten out that arm and push your hand into the floor, lift yourself up. This should feel like a nice stretch through the back of your body. Keep looking at your bell. Elbow comes down. We're gonna spin that forearm back to where it started and then just set our butts down on the floor. Then you can find your get up legs. One more time, I'm gonna scoot forward a little bit and then roll yourself back down. Pull your belt down, let it take you to the floor, and then we'll try our other side. I'm gonna face the other direction this time so you can get a different view here. Try to give yourself a little room more room than I have here if you're kind of long-limbed. Okay, lay down. Let's go ahead, roll over, push that thing up. Come into your regular get-up position. Your first roll is essentially the same as a regular get-up. So let's go 3, 2, and 1. We push roll. Now you're gonna bend that straight leg, cross over the bent leg, and then flip yourself over so the bell's supported on your back. Now we straighten out that forearm, palm is flat, we push down, lift ourselves up here, elbow to the floor, arm comes out, we flip, bring our legs out. We roll ourselves back down to the floor, grab onto your bell, pull it down to your chest, roll over to the side. That is where you will land today for your SOS get up. We're just doing one of those. You can keep that lightweight because we're just gonna be practicing our single leg deadlift. If you do not have great balance in this one, it's okay. You can practice keeping your back toes on the floor and letting yourself have that little kickstand. Everyone else, we're gonna practice gliding our toe, then lifting the leg, and then standing up. More advanced is not touching that straight leg each time. So we're gonna do this 5 times. After your 5th rep, so on that 5th rep, I should say, you're gonna hold it in the back position for 20 seconds. We're only doing this 1 time through, but you're getting 5 reps each side. So let's go ahead and start with our right leg down. Widen out your toes, even if they're in a shoe. And you're going to bring your bell in front of you. We're gonna take our back hip and our left hip, and slightly spin it forward. And then we're gonna start hinging our hips, bending our front knee, taking our hips back. My left toes are staying on the floor until my hips are totally back. Then I'm gonna lift my toes. Now I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna use that straight leg to stand up. So complete your 5 reps here. So we'll say 2. My toes are gonna face inward as I go down. I'm not reaching down with the bell, and I'm not reaching forward with my knee. I'm reaching back with my hips. Big distinction there. We don't want to make this into a squat. So here's my 5th rep. I'm gonna hold here. This is a 20-second hold. My chin is neutral. I'm looking at the space about a foot in front of my front foot. I'm holding onto my bell really tight. My hand should be even, so we shouldn't be here. Keep squeezing and pushing back your back heel. Remember length. I want length through your head forward and through your heel back. Hold here for 3, 2, push through that foot, let that booty burn, stand up tall. Whoo! That will activate and wake up that leg. If it hasn't for you, then I don't know what to say. You're a freakishly strong, maybe not human person. Okay, let's go ahead and grab your bell and go for your opposite side. So they're gonna help us because we're doing single leg assisted deadlifts in our program today. So let's go ahead, go back for our first rep here. Fully back with your hips and lift your foot. Now that gives you a little feedback of maybe where your back position is. Remember, if you need to, that toe can stay on the floor and you're still gonna push through that front foot and drag. I'm gonna go one more rep here, and then I'm gonna take my 20-second hold. So we'll go into the back position. We're gonna stay here. Other hand, really good for those of you that have trouble kind of keeping yourself centered. Bring it across your body in line with your opposite shoulder, make a fist and squeeze it. Reach back with your back heel, flex your back toes. Push your front heel down, move your knee back a little more with your hips. Keep your chin tucked and your face relaxed. We're here for 3, 2, push through that foot, come up, and that bell can come down to the floor. You might want a little heavier one if your bell is pretty light, or you can keep the same one. We're gonna go for 3. Staggered stance cleans next, and this is gonna help us really load into the hip of the front leg. So essentially, it's kind of like cleaning on one leg, so we're working on not shifting our hips here. This is gonna help us when we get into our step-ups today and into those assisted deadlifts. So let's go ahead, bring your bell between your feet just like a dead clean. Dead clean is your modification. So if this feels too much for you, take it down to that dead clean. You're gonna bring your foot back like you would in your staggered stance deadlifts. From here, we're gonna go the hand of the back leg side. You just need to watch your knee a bit. You're gonna push through your front foot and clean. We'll set the bell down. Try to not let your hip on this side move around a lot. We're gonna keep it in one spot. Let's go ahead and try this together. Just make sure your stance is wide enough that you can clear that back leg. The bell should be kind of in the center or a little closer to your back leg side. So let's go for it. Clock is on here. 3, 2, 1. Really push through this foot. Bell comes to the floor. Push again. Bell comes back to the floor. We're gonna drive through the front leg. Concentrate on that front leg. Shake it out. Take mental notes of how that went. We're gonna try your other side. Maybe this side feels a little more unstable. I feel like for me, the left is a little bit more unstable. Use your hip drive to lift your bell. Your hips can go down, your chest can come up a little bit. Remember, it's a dead clean. You don't have to be fully folded over in a tabletop. I'll do this one a little more for the side actually, so you guys can see that. So here's my setup. It's a little wider than you might think. I'm gonna come down, lift my chest a bit. Push through that front foot. I'm trying to close off this side of my body. Maybe move your knee in a little. Here we go. 3, 2, don't hit your knee with the kettlebell. You have to make sure there's some room here to clear it. One more time. 3, 2, 1. Goal is that you are feeling, again, this mostly in the hips of the front leg. Our warm-up is finished today. I'm gonna give you a quick recap of what we're up to for our class, and then all the equipment shall be ready. We will get started. So your first thing is an assisted single leg deadlift. This is kind of like the staggered stance deadlift, just a little more challenging. I absolutely love this one because we get to use a little bit of a prop for stability and really complete a lot of reps of deadlifts without the balance being an issue. So you can do that by grabbing onto a wall like I have here. You can hold on to a squat rack. You could hold on to something kind of low like that when you come down, but I prefer there's something you can really hold on to. So if you're in a gym, perfect. If you have a wall like me, you're gonna try to copy what I do here with the wall. We're gonna do each side. You're gonna have a bell opposite of your front leg side. Yeah, kind of like we just did, exactly like we just did in that warm up. So it's gonna be on the back leg side. We're gonna go down and up as many times as you can in 40 seconds. You're only gonna have a 20-second rest break today in this class. Second set is a dead clean to a row. So we're gonna get to practice this dead stop clean. We'll drop down, row that kettlebell, and do it again. You do have the option, if you want to try a staggered dead clean to a row, you're just going to switch your hand. So it's not going to be on the back leg side, it's going to be on the front leg side this time. Try that out if you want. That's an advanced option. It's not in the written program. It's a little special for the class today. And you'll do each side. So those are intervals 3 and 4. 5 and 6, last few intervals. Racked hold bench step ups. Bell is going to be on the working leg side, the front leg. You're going to step up come back down. Bell can be suitcase style if you need it to be, but try to make it racked. Try not to fall over, it's a little harder. If your bench isn't as tall as mine, that's okay. I want you to fully step onto it, fully step down with your back foot. So we're gonna go here, step up, down, down. It's kind of like that reverse lunge a bit that we did, elevated. Take it for what you will, you have 2 sides to do. 4 rounds through this, it's gonna take us just about 24 minutes, isn't that lovely? And I guarantee your ass is gonna burn a little bit if your weights are heavy, so go ahead and get everything out that you need. We'll go ahead and get started in our intervals in just a few seconds. Okay, I read my description section. I have everything out that I need. 10 seconds, we're starting in our assisted deadlift. If you are a wall hanger-on or like me, you're just gonna push into the wall and use it as some support on your opposite side. It's a little, not as much ideal as holding on to something, but I want you to try it out if you don't have something to hold on to. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. So you're gonna come onto the wall. You're going to think of the bell coming towards your big front toe on the working leg side. I still want you to think of your hips going back. So we don't want to bend the front knee forward like we're squatting. Remember, this is a hip dominant activity. Exactly the same form that we had in the beginning part of our warm up here, getting long. I'm actually pushing my body back by pushing into the wall. Sorry if you leave some fingerprints on your wall if it's in your house or something, but you can wash it later. We're here for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and set your bell down. We're gonna repeat this one on your opposite side. You're gonna have, again, that 40-second interval, 20 seconds off. I really don't care in this one if your reps are the same. You're not gonna have like a lot of weirdness if you miss, excuse me, frog in my throat, 1 rep or not, but you can count them if you really wanna keep yourself super even. Okay, let's go to your opposite side. 3, 2, and 1. So the reason I love an assist, kind of like if you're following this video in the program sequence, the video before this one, or the class before this one where I went on a small rant about why it is definitely not cheating to use squat wedges. If holding on to something gives you some more stability to lift heavier and get a few more reps in, I deem that worth it in this set. We already did our balance set, our practice set there. Balancing on one leg is great, but sometimes we really need to just stimulate that muscle. We need to burn the booty a little bit. 3, 2, and 1, and giving yourself that leg up by holding onto something is gonna allow you to do more reps and get more stim. That's it right here. So if we were really just going for balance and that was the whole point, wouldn't set it up this way, but we're not. We're going for strength and hypertrophy in this series. Okay, dead stop, clean, and row. You can do them either way, like row first, dead stop, clean first, but I'm gonna go dead clean first. Remember that stagger is there for you if you wanna try it. 3, 2, and 1. So we're gonna come up, we come down, and then we pull it to our hip. Try to get that momentum as you move through this. So if your bell is feeling pretty big today, all good here. You're gonna get a decent amount of reps in this one. I think somewhere around 10, maybe 8. If the cleans become too much and your hand starts to get kind of weird, like if your calluses aren't liking it, if you feel like it's slowing you down, go ahead and just do the rows. That's all I care about here. You're getting enough of the booty work and all that later in class. Rest in 3, 2, and 1. I'm gonna try the staggered version this time so you can see that. And you will have to go a little bit wider stance with your feet to make this one work. So I'm gonna think in the front leg side this time and then pull to the row there. You also honestly could clean at the back leg side. Try both and see what you like. I'm fine with either. I'm gonna try the back leg side first. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. So here I am in that dead clean. I come all the way to the floor, row. You know what, guys? I think the back leg side, if you're trying that, is actually gonna feel a little better because you're not gonna be in as much danger of hitting that front knee. I think the back knee is a little more out to the side and back, so it's gonna give you some room to kind of clear it. So I would take that version. Keep pushing down your front foot to lift the bell. I like to imagine that when I'm doing this, I'm thinking of that leg being the only thing that I'm using to actually make the bell come up. So I'm not even imagining the back leg. 3, 2, and rest. I'm just imagining that front leg. Okay, so we will rack the bell next on our first side for our bench step-ups. You can also do these body weight and you can do them suitcase. So options for you depending on the weight that you have. Prescription is to try to do them racked. You can give your bell a little cradle if you need to. You can also, if you feel, again, your waist is falling, or your chest is falling forward, take them suitcase. Let's go 3, 2, and 1. So I'm actually gonna step up with one side. I'm gonna leave that side there and then try to push with the other one. You could try just lightly tapping. See how close you can get to your bench. So we're not stepping back like a lunge and using momentum here. We're going straight down, pushing straight up. This is one of my favorite butt moves that isn't a hip thrust. If you joined that class where I gave you a list of what can you do to grow your butt, what moves are awesome, step ups, one of the best out there. If you can add these into your repertoire, you're gonna grow the peach, especially if you're going a little heavy. You've got 3, 2, and 1. You have another side of these to do. I remember one of my first clients, so those of you that don't know this, maybe story time, because I don't tell this story enough. I should probably tell it more. I became a trainer full-time about 10 years ago, maybe a little more now. And before that, I worked in athletic apparel. I had a whole different career. I was one of those people, we'll go 3, 2, and 1, that decided to make a career switch. And part of the career switch came because I was kind of honestly bored at the company that I was at. I really loved my job, but it was the only job I'd had. I started working for them right out of college, and they were a super high growth company. I'll just tell you, it was Lululemon Athletica. And they were at the time this tiny grassroots company out of Canada. Not what they are today, but I got to ride the wave growing with them into what they are today. So great experience, 10 years and so many memories. We'll go 3, 2, and 1, but I was a little burnt out on the retail world and I wanted to experience something else just because I never had seen anything else post-college. So I started interviewing for jobs kind of like them. I got hired by a startup. We're gonna start over in about 10 seconds with your assisted leg dead, so go to your first side. It didn't work out, and that was the catalyst. There's a lot more in this story. We'll go 3, 2, and 1 about the details about how I got here to be a trainer. But that was a catalyst for me deciding to try to go on my own and become a trainer, because this was sort of a passion of mine. Do I recommend people just quit their jobs and follow a passion project with no plan? I definitely don't. I had more of a solid plan that I could talk about in a different day if you're curious about that. But my first ever client in this new role, self-employed trainer, one of my friends is a trainer and she had passed me this client. I was kind of like, how am I gonna affect this woman's plan? What am I gonna do? 3, 2, and rest. How am I going to help her out with the equipment she had? Because she had kind of like a building gym and was a little bit limited. And the thing that we used a lot, weirdly, you have 10 seconds to the other side, was her stairwell in her gym. And part of it was I would have her, we'll go 3, 2, and 1, hold on to dumbbells. And essentially, what a bitch move of me doing this. This is so mean. Essentially, walk up a few floors with stairs. And part of that reason was the bench step up, this movement right here that we just did, wasn't super available to her yet. She wouldn't quite be able to do this well with good balance. Maybe we didn't have the bench set up. I can't even remember, but I was like, okay, we're gonna get some good cardio work. We're gonna get some good booty work. We're gonna get some good core work. And all she needs are stairs. It was one of, and I think we'll go 3, 2, and 1, the best movements that someone could do. If you don't have anything, just go walk up and down some stairs, and that could be your entire training session. You can even skip a few stairs. So if you're ever traveling and your hotel doesn't have a gym, or you really want to get in a burner, find somewhere that has stairs, or just walk up and down the stairs to your office. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. If you live in an office building, where's my head at? If you work in an office building on kind of a higher floor within reason, go ahead, go for those dead cleans. You for sure could use that to your advantage depending on your footwear daily, of course, using the stairs to get a little booty work. I had a 5-floor walk-up when I lived in New York City for almost 10 years. And part of the reason I stayed there is because my rent was stabilized. So it was just an insane deal in a great neighborhood. I just couldn't leave. We'll go 3, 2, and rest. We're gonna go to your other side next. And I counted the stairs one day because those of you that live in New York now or have ever lived there, you know that some days the city just completely eats you up, spits you out, and doesn't care. Other days it gives you the best luck and you have such a glorious day, but sometimes it just eats you alive. Let's go other side. 3, 2, and 1. I had an eat me alive day, and I also think it was raining, and the only thing that I could do when I got home from work was count the stairs up to my apartment, because if I hadn't done that, I think that I probably would have stopped and cried before I even got anywhere. So I think I counted like 63 was the number of stairs to go one way up. And every time I went to that building, up to my building, had to go up with grocery bags, I was like, okay, you can take on these 63 stairs. It gave me some perspective, but after 9 years of living in a building where I had to walk up 5 flights every day, 3, 2, and 1, I do have to say that probably is a hidden part of my booty program in my life. So if you have stairs, you might be like, oh, I can thank them a little bit for the butt that they're possibly giving me. Okay, let's go to your bench step-ups again. 3, 2, and 1. It took me almost a whole interval to get through that story. Look at that. So we're gonna step. Now I'm thinking if I forgot your opposite leg, I'm hoping I didn't. I kind of blacked out there when I was telling the story, but if I did, it's just what it is. We're just gonna keep going with it. Breathe in and out here. Try to think of stability in that front foot. So we don't want your knee knocking around here. You can bend your knee forward to come up. You don't want to collapse into it. We don't want this happening. So think of driving through that foot and seeing if you can push down to lift up. Weird concept that we don't think about a lot. 3, 2, and 1. We can't just put our foot down and come up. We actually have to actively drive ourselves into the floor. So think about the cleans. Think about when we're doing those. Have you driven your foot into the floor in this step up, kind of like you have to do in the clean to stand up? It's all connected, right? Let's go 3, 2, and 1. One way you can sniff out a pretty well programmed session are, do the things make sense in sequence? Does the warm-up kind of match or prepare you for what you're about to do in the actual class? Or is it just a random spattering of like weird shit? That's how you know you're doing a good program. So when I program classes or sessions or the bigger picture of what you guys are doing throughout the few weeks that you follow a certain cadence, I'm looking at the whole thing holistically, big picture, but then by the class, I'm always looking at what are we doing in the session, and then work backwards. 3, 2, and 1. Those of you that want to write your own workouts sometimes, or you're interested in why we do things the way we do, we should never start with the beginning of the story in the warm-up. You always should start at the end and work backwards to how you're getting to the end with those beginning movements. Okay, let's get round 3, single side deadlifts. We're gonna pick up our bell in 3, 2, and 1. This is one of those classes where we're not getting a lot of rest break here. We're being pretty time efficient. So I want you to use a weight that you feel pretty good with. One quick thing, it's okay to bend your elbow when you're here. Like I'm bending mine out to the side. I was feeling a little too far away. I want to stand pretty straight up. So watch how my elbow bends a little more. I wasn't doing that very well in the first 2 rounds, but that's a better visual, and you'll see another one when I take on the second side. You're here for 10 seconds. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep it going, guys. You're almost through this set. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Bell comes down. We have one more round of everything after we complete this one, so just stick with it. Let's go ahead and get ready to pick up your bell on your second side. Maybe shake your butt out. You're doing this right if you feel it in the down leg. You might feel a bit of a stretch in your opposite leg, but it should mostly be in your down leg. Let's go ahead and pick your bell up. Clock is on here. 3, 2, and 1. So here are my, wait, what am I doing? I'm doing the wrong side. Watch my elbow come to the side here. So I'm still keeping my hips even. My knee is going back. My toe is gently gliding off the floor. I'm keeping that foot flexed the whole time. I'm keeping my abs engaged the whole time. There should never be this happening here. We want rib cage, pelvis stacked. You're gonna feel your butt if you're doing that. It's kind of impossible not to stand up straight and line these up without your glutes tensing just a little bit. So that's a good clue. If you're always standing like this and dumping and your back hurts, you might need a little more alignment there and strength there. You've got 3, 2, and 1. We're gonna go for your dead stop cleans. 2 sides, I'll flip over and show you guys a different angle for this. Go with your stagger if you liked that, if that felt nice for you. I'm gonna try it again on this side. This is optional. Remember, this is a little more advanced version. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. So I push through that front foot, come down, row. The reason why I'm not having you do this, which you could, is it's a little more advanced, and it's probably coming up in this program later. We just haven't got there yet. So little precursor, bonus if you watch your videos, just like this one, you get a little bit of spice, a little bit of tidbit, a little bit of snack for might be coming in the full meal later in the program. You can try that out now. So we've been working with these hang cleans. This little drop, you have to be able to catch and control. That's part of it. You'll be able to get some more reps in if you do it that way. Clock is on here. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Shake it out, get it ready for the next side. I'll go for my regular stance on this one for all my regular stance folks here. And remember our conversations. That bench is there today. If the dead clean situation isn't working for you and you want the row, do a 3-point row. You've got 40 seconds. You can do as many as you want. We've got 3, 2, and 1. What I don't want you to do is try to bicep curl this thing down to the bottom. So this is also practice for dropping your hips with your bell, making that weightless, pushing through the floor. I'm dropping my hips and controlling myself on the down. I honestly think controlling yourself on the down is sometimes a lot more complicated and challenging than thrusting and exerting force to lift your bell up. Think about that for a second. Are you someone that can control this just as much as you can push through the floor and get it into the rack position? You've got 3, 2, and 1. Bench step ups. Numero, what is this? This is round 3. I'm gonna start like speaking Spanglish in these classes. I know I am. I'm like living in 2 different languages, and sometimes I feel like I've gotten to the point where I want to blend them. So maybe we'll do some Spanish lessons in class. Okay, here we go. Clock is on. 3, 2, and 1. Pick up that weight. Again, you can cradle it here. We're gonna step. We're gonna aim to push actively into the bench through the entire sole of our foot. We're not jutting our head out. We're pulling our chin back. We're trying to relax our eyebrows a little bit. We're thinking of pushing, exerting force, using that booty. We're not stopping once our booty starts to feel a little bit, fatigued. I want you to lean into that fatigue a little bit. Push into that fatigue a little bit. Can you go 1 to 2 reps more once you start feeling like you want to stop? That's your sweet spot for making some change with weight training. You've got 3, 2, and 1. And if you're not feeling that in this, you might need a different variation. And maybe that looks like a heavy ass bell suitcase style. Pick the one that works for you here. I know it's a lot of suitcase. That's why we're racking it for this one, because we're suitcasing it for the next one. So I don't want you holding bells for like 4 minutes. Let's go ahead, bring it up. 3, 2, and 1 in that same suitcase position. So this rack, challenging us in a different way in our step up, but it's also giving us a break from holding it, a little break for our forearms. We can also, again, put your hand around it, take a little of that weight off so you're not feeling it so much when you're holding it up, and you can really nail the booty. This is sort of like a single leg booty superset in class, because we go right into those assisted deads. If you're going heavy today, I promise you, this one's gonna feel like a lot's happening here in probably 2 days from now. Breathe through this one. You guys got it. Almost there. Clock is on. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We have single leg assisted deadlifts on your first side in 15 seconds. So go ahead, get ready. This is your last time through this. And remember, the bell is opposite of your front leg side. And if you F it up, it's not gonna matter. You're gonna be fine. So just go with what works best for you. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, and 1. So I think I actually switched my side from the first round, but good news, you get to do both of them. So don't worry about it too much. Some of this stuff, weight training, it's not that big a deal, everybody. Like, we're not mostly, at least I don't think I have any Olympians training here. We don't need to make this life and death. You're here to practice, to exert yourself, to develop a little character and do things that you don't want to fucking do. But also, you're here to have some fun with this. This isn't so serious. You're not gonna get hurt doing this stuff unless you're egregiously negligent, which the whole point of the video is to try to help you not do that. You've got 3, 2, and 1 rest. I'm about to go on this rant, I think, another rant, because weight training is so safe. I don't think most people understand how safe weight training actually is compared to other stuff. Let's get your opposite side in 3, 2, and 1. I mean, everyone doesn't seem to be that concerned with, I'm going to be pretty sedentary, haven't really trained in any way in a very long time, but I'll go, train for a 5K, a 10K, maybe a half marathon, and that's great. Lace up those running shoes, go pound the pavement, all that stuff. Awesome goal, but I would argue that strength training, so much more low impact, so high yield, and the hurting your back or hurting yourself doing it is actually pretty hard to do, especially when you're a beginner, because you're probably not going to be moving enough loads to even get close to doing that. 3, 2, and rest. So a class like this, you can ramp it up. And that's one of the best arguments I have for weight training is you start in a manageable set, and then you'll slowly add weight and difficulty as time goes by. Same thing can be said for my runners out there. Let's go 3, 2, and 1 in the deadstop clean. One of the biggest mistakes that I see runners make when they come back to running is that they start to develop aerobic capacity, maybe a little faster than their muscles, their skeletal system can handle it. So your body can't handle that impact like this very well in the first little bit. Normal. But once we start being able to breathe and really get our run going, it's a lot harder to stop ourselves and slow ourselves down. Same thing in weight training. Weight training kind of humbles you though, because you can't really push farther because you just can't lift the weight sometimes. 3, 2, and rest. We're gonna take this 15-second rest break. We're gonna hit your second side of dead stop cleans. Take a big breath in through your nose, big breath out through your mouth. You have 10 seconds to get yourself ready and in position for this set of dead cleans. Let's go ahead and pick your bell up in 3, 2, and 1. Final set here, so keep giving it all you got. We only have a few more minutes left after we finish these dead stop cleans, 2 rows, or just your rows, or just your dead stop cleans. You're gonna get a lot out of this again, no matter what you choose today. Stick with this for 10 more seconds before we hit our final set of those bench step ups. And I want these ones to be pristine. We're gonna finish class on a high note, right? Let's go 3, 2, and 1. Bench step ups. If you don't have a bench, I've been giving the, I know this is the last round, you're probably like, why didn't you tell us this sooner? You can just do a reverse lunge, just don't elevate your front foot. That's gonna be the best thing for you to try. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. Maybe you have some stairs in your building or in your house and you wanna put me on your phone, put your little earpods in and just walk up some stairs during these sets. That is great too. I would be really happy with you if you decided to do that. Just like a little self-led thing. I think it's a bit underrated. Like, you don't actually have to watch me a lot of times in these videos. If you want to just put me in your ear hole and have me talk to you through your program and tell you what to do, if you already know how to do this stuff, if that helps motivate you, go for it. You can do it that way too. That works just as well. You don't have to watch any of the vid, just hear the voice and you're gonna be golden. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Of course, you already have to kind of know how to do the movement. So I would say that's only for those of you that have been training with Bells Up Studio for a minute, or you feel pretty well versed when you look at a program, what's expected of you on that program. Okay, let's go ahead and get it popping here. We're gonna bring your last rep into fruition. We'll go 3, 2, and 1. Catch that bell, bring your foot up. Let's step it up, guys, all the way up. Gentle on the way down, little gentle step. You might even just, again, tap your toe, but I think a full step is fine as long as it's kind of close to the bench and you're pushing with that front leg. Notice how much you want the back leg to do the work. Try not to let that back leg do much other than just kind of catch you at the bottom. Can you actively dig that front leg down for the last 10 seconds of this class? Let your butt burn. Maybe you push a few more reps than you did before, just because it's so sweet when you finish and you know you've put that work in. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest, my friends. You are finished with your strength set for today. And I'm just having that moment where I feel like I forgot a leg, and if I did, I apologize. It'll live in infamy from now on. I will see you guys in your next class. Remember, get real, get strong, bells up. Bye.